Hey guys, it's been a little bit since I've updated, maybe, and I figured I'd let you guys know what's been going on. Gail has taken me under his wing and is showing me his secrets to surviving in here. He's a good teacher, and I'm learning some tricks for navigating the DGBs. It's hard to explain it all, but I'm going to try my best. A lot of it's mental preparation and association, which is really hard to teach, but Gail's a pretty good teacher, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. The first lesson was how the DGBs work. All the Dollar Generals are like spokes on a big tire. They all move forward, never backward. You can't go back simply by going through the door. Wherever you entered from is your first spoke on the wheel. That's why everyone's journey starts in a different place. My first spoke is different from yours, and my last spoke will be different from yours too. There are nearly infinite Dollar Generals. At least I've never seen one repeat itself by going through the door. I'm sure there must be an end to them, but I'm not sure I want to see what it looks like any more than you do. You with me so far? I nodded, but thinking about it made my head hurt a little bit. Traveling the spokes, the stores, is easy. You just go through the door. Navigating the stores, that's a little harder. The way I did it was to think of the stores as spokes on a wheel, but a wheel needs a hub. This store is my hub. It's the middle point where I come to get out of the wheel. Technically, I guess it's a spoke too, but thinking of it as a hub helps ground myself. You get it? I waffled a little, not wanting to admit it was a little over my head. Kinda? Gail laughed. Don't worry, you'll pick it up. It's like riding a bike. Once you do it, it's easy. In that, he wasn't wrong. Lesson number 2 was traveling with people. So if you're traveling with other people, you have to be touching them for the two of you to travel together. Here, put a hand on my shoulder, he said, as he prepared to step through the door. I slid a hand on his shoulder, and we stepped through together into a similar store. This one, however, was KK, the place I'd found Gail's bulletin board. See, that's how we came out into my Dollar General when we left the miasma behind. I had a hand on your back, so we could travel together. That made sense, and we proceeded with Lesson 3, traveling to a specific place. You've done yourself a favor by leaving marks behind. At first, I was popping around to stores I remembered, like the ones with the weird letters or the ones with the strange things in them. But once I started leaving my own markings, I could travel to specific places. Pick out one of the stores you've been to before, and let's go there. He put a hand on my shoulder, and when I walked through the door, we came out in LL instead of GG, the store with the Mother's Day decorations. I was a little disappointed, but Gail patted my shoulder reassuringly. It's tricky. Took me a while to figure it out, too. Let's try again. Picture the marks you left. Close your eyes, get a good mental picture, and then step through the door. I tried again, really focusing on the twin G's, but when I stepped through this time, it was to find myself in an older location, the one with a single G on the floor. When I told him I'd goofed again, however, he told me it was progress. You're getting the hang of it. Going to G when you were thinking about GG is pretty damn close. Just keep practicing. You'll get it. We spent a while just traveling from one store to the next. Sometimes I got close. Sometimes I just moved forward. But after a while, I started to travel to the right destinations sometimes. It was something that took a lot of focus, and when I put my hand to my head and told him I was getting a headache, Gail suggested that we take a little break. Have a rest, drink some water or some Gatorade or maybe some coffee. Just kind of take it easy for a bit. It isn't something you get right away. It takes practice, and even I sometimes get it wrong after all this time. I can't say how long we were at it, but for what must have been a few days, we worked on pinpointing my navigation to the stores that I had been to already. I saw a lot of familiar places, though Gail refused to go to the meat market store, as he called it. He said that he'd encountered shadows there, Shadows that thought he might be for sale, and he had barely escaped with his life. I figured I must have gone while they were closed, and counted myself lucky. After a while, I could travel pretty well between stores without too much trouble, and when Gail was pretty confident that I had the process down, he suggested we move on to something else. Lesson 4 involved bringing other things with you to other stores. So your clothes travel with you because you don't think about them coming with you. It's like your nose or your hands. They're parts of you, and your mind just assumes that they'll make the trip. Now, I want you to take a good look at yourself and visualize what you look like in your clothes. Once you have it committed to memory, then you can add things to it and take them with you. He made me practice in front of a full-length mirror, inspecting myself and committing my clothes to memory. The clothes weren't hard. I'd worked at the same place for years and was very aware of what my uniform looked like. No, the hard part was adding to it. I found the most colorful backpack in the store, but committing it to memory was difficult. If it wasn't just right, then it wouldn't come with me, and Gail assured me that the backpack was all I needed to get right. Once you get the backpack down, everything you zip inside is inside. You don't really have to remember it, because it's inside the bag, and you know it's inside the bag. Once you have the bag down, the rest is cake. That one took a while and gave me some headaches. Sometimes the bag wouldn't come with me. Sometimes the bag would, but I would concentrate so hard on the bag that I wouldn't travel where I wanted to go. Sometimes I'd load it up with stuff and find that the bag stayed in the place where I had been, and not where I'd went to. Gail told me to be diligent, and after a while, it all came together. I couldn't say how long that was, but it had to be about a month. We went about my training the same way I had gone about traveling. When I was tired, I slept. When I was hungry, I ate, and when I had to go, I went. Gail had an answer for solid waste too, and it made me laugh when he explained it. The place with the burnt roof is where I take all my crap to. I figure if it's where that thing moves around the most, he's welcome to it. We went there when we had a bunch of it, Gail putting it in hefty bags and sealing it in his backpack. He tossed it into the gaping ceiling and ran, the two of us coming back to the DGB-0 like kids after a prank. Gail said he always waited till he had a whole bag to throw it out, and he hoped the creep liked the little present. Gail and I became good friends, but I think it was more than that for him. Sometimes when he clapped me on the shoulder, there was an almost parental gleam in his eye. We ate together, we slept near each other, we talked a lot, we became close quickly. He talked about his travels, the things that he had seen in more than 20 years that he'd been moving through the Dollar Generals, but eventually we landed on a topic that I was hoping he knew something about. "How far in have you been?" I asked one night, as we were cooking marshmallows over a propane burner. Gail thought about it as he slid the mess between graham crackers and chocolate. "I've marked up to 218, I think. I thought about my question a little more as I chewed over my own s'more. "Do you think anyone's made it out?" I said, slurping a little as the treat stuck to my mouth. "I don't know," he said. "If they did, I don't suppose we'd know. Not unless they left notes." I nodded, taking a sip of lukewarm cola to clear the roof of my mouth. Surely the store can't go on forever. There has to be an end. Gail shrugged. "I suppose. Wouldn't make sense for them to go on that long. I almost hope there isn't, though. If there is an end, then there's only so much food, water, and supplies. We'll eventually starve to death here, and that's a bleak prospect." We went to bed not long after, but I never stopped thinking about the infinite loop of perfectly odd Dollar General stores. What would be at the end if there was one? Would it be an exit? Would there be a creature living there? Was the end what lay outside or in the ceiling? I had no answer, so I drifted off, thinking about the possibilities as the fluorescents hummed overhead. Gail and I started exploring more after that, and I think he was looking for other people to add to our group. We could go see if the hermit wants to join our band, I asked, and Gail laughed bitterly as he pointed to his stomach. Maybe give him a chance to finish what he started, too. I wasn't surprised to hear that the hermit had been the one to stab him, but I did wonder why he never traveled. We never saw him while we were out getting things, and we avoided his little corner like the plague. FF was strictly off limits, and now I realized I had gotten off very lucky in our exchange. I don't know how long I spent with Gail, but it felt like years. I know I say that a lot, but it's hard to convey how strange time is on this side. Time is something I'm used to counting, used to hoarding like a dragon, but here it isn't something I have to think about. What's more, I don't know if anyone is even getting these updates. If they are, how quickly or slowly are they getting them? Are they coming in daily? Weekly? Are you waiting years between messages? Are your children seeing them and having vague memories of something their parents told them when they were small? Are all the Dollar General beyond, or otherwise, stones beneath the foundation of some other store? Does the name mean anything to those who may or may not be reading it? I don't know. I write these updates because it feels right. I write them because I feel like I should. I've gotten pretty good at traveling now. I can travel back and forth, carry supplies, hold things in my hand and travel, change my clothes and bring them back with me, and it makes me proud and a little afraid. With two of us, Gail and I have used some of the dolly loaders to move shelves around in our hub. We're opening up the floor plan, and now we have all this space for activities. I know, cheesy, but it's a classic. I've started keeping a journal of the different Dollar General Beyonds, so I can remember which ones are which. Here's a few of my favorites. Store FF, designation dangerous. Food, none. People, 1. The theme is destroyed. It's the home of the crazy hermit. Beware this store. The shelves are bare of food. The hermit has hoarded it all somewhere safe. Could be secrets here, but they're hard to find. Store JJJ, designation dangerous. Food, minimal. People, none. Theme is waste disposal. Where we drop our waste. A fire took out most of the store a long time ago. The food here is all non-perishable and it's stacked up in the back. Known location where the miasma come out. Store T, designation low to moderate dangerous. Food, plentiful but strange. People, none. Shadow creatures a possibility. Theme, strange human meat market. This is the place that may contain shadow creatures. The shelves contain what appears to be human meat, and the store smells like coppery plastic. My research partner claims to have been accosted by these creatures, so proceed with caution. Stuff like that. I'm working on a more complete study of them, now that I can take my notes and things with me without putting them on my phone, which will run out of space eventually, and I'm hoping to make a complete study of the DGBs. That's all for now. I'll shoot you an update when I have more. Sitting here writing this out, listening to Gail snore, it's nice to have someone to talk to and just be with. I hope it's something that will last. You're still here. Thanks so much for joining us for tonight's spooky tale. If you'd like a little bit more spooky in your life, why not click on one of the videos that appears at the end of our story? Or maybe head on over to one of our playlists where you can get your fill of spooky content. If you like your spooky a little more tactile, I've got a new book that's come out. If you'd like your own copy, there's a link below in the description where you can get your own copy of my spooky book. If you like what you see here on the channel and think you might like to support in a more monetized way, then why not come over to Patreon or become a member on YouTube? Speaking of, let's go ahead and thank our members now. Thanks to Civ Garstad and Unicorn Hollow for being our spooky ghost contributors. Thanks to Saikat, Lee Kendall, Janet, and Chris Kinsella for being our spooky skeleton tier contributors. And, of course, thanks to Xaronan, Winter, Tyler Parker, Stephanie Carrington, Sarah ASMR, Hi Stacy, Emily Coltsfoot, and Cinnamon Fox, and Bella Lee for being our Ghostly Reader tier contributors. Thanks, everyone. We just couldn't do the show without you. As I said, if you'd like to have your name read out at the end of every episode that I make, and maybe get a little more, come on down to Patreon and sign up, or become a member on YouTube. Ghostly Reader tier contributors get a book anytime I write one, which is usually about twice a year. So, what are you waiting for? Come on down and give it a look. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.